Safety has been one of the priorities for humans since the dawn of civilization. In fact, it was because of safety that humans began to group together, as they were not particularly attuned to surviving alone in the wild. And even today, safety remains one of the biggest concerns whenever we are looking for a city to travel to or to live in. So, let's take a look at some of the safest cities in the world. Number 15. Barcelona. Located in Spain, Barcelona is a lovely city with many beautiful sights which one can explore and savor. But what makes it even better is that it is also one of the safest cities in the world. There is a very good healthcare service in place, and even the personal security is ranked one of the highest in the world. There is also an increased police presence in the city and in the subway to deter criminals, and crime has dropped 32% in the last 3 years. No wonder that the residents of Barcelona feel pretty safe in their homes. Number 14. Montreal. Montreal is a city that is on the bucket list for many people. And to top it off, it is also considered one of the best places to stay in the world. It is located in Canada, which is anyways a pretty peaceful country. Montreal is the second largest city in Canada and has a population of 4 million. Interestingly, it is also home to the second largest French-speaking population in the world, behind only to Paris. The digital security is top-notch in Montreal, and their infrastructure is pretty good too. And what's more is that Montreal plans to spend close to $1 billion to fix its roads and bridges and make the city even safer. Number 13. Taipei. While many might be surprised that the capital of Taiwan finds its way onto this list, Taipei is actually a pretty safe city and has been ranked as the 21st best city to live in. Taipei has a population of 3 million, and residents attest to the fact that it is a very safe city. And not just in terms of personal safety, but in terms of health security as well. What works for Taipei is that it has also witnessed rapid economic growth, and the security has been a factor in that growth. So there's no surprise really that it is a place which tourists love to visit, with its busy shopping streets and contemporary buildings. Number 12. San Francisco. San Francisco in the Californian state of the US takes its safety pretty seriously, which is why they have appointed the world's first chief resilience officer, whose job it is to keep track of everything that could test the city, which is perhaps why it has some of the safest infrastructure and digital presence. The city is also one of the richest in the world, with the 4th highest average income in the world. And, well, when you have the money, you wouldn't really want to be lacking in safety, right? Number 11. Hong Kong. Considering the digital age that we live in, digital security becomes a very high priority, and Hong Kong scores well on that account. It is the 4th safest city in terms of digital security. The population in Hong Kong is around 7 million, and many of those live in urban slums. That actually brings down its infrastructural security a bit, with one of the highest number of pedestrian deaths. But it still is a pretty safe city, and ranks pretty high in personal safety as well. With a recent increase in police patrolling following some protests, the security has only gone up in Hong Kong. All in all, Hong Kong is a pretty secure place to visit or stay, unless you plan to walk around a lot. Number 10. New York. New York has shown that things can change for the better. In 1990, there was around 6 homicides every day here. But since then, things have become better, and it is one of the safest cities in the world, especially in terms of digital and health security. Of course, one of the busiest and most important cities in the world, New York does come under threats of terror attack and cyber warfare more than most other cities. But it has the infrastructure and police to counter that. That is pretty good news considering that most of us want to experience the bustling city firsthand. Number 9. Melbourne. This Australian city is considered to be very safe, and its infrastructure has been ranked as the 2nd safest in the world. The personal security is also top-notch there. Another thing that scores hugely in favor of Melbourne is that it has a life expectancy of 86 years, one of the highest in the world. Melbourne also finds itself termed as one of the best cities to live in, and the good infrastructure and personal safety do have a hand in that. The cost of living is also not very high here, and considering that Australia is a country that is not generally involved in many controversies, it is pretty safe to say that Melbourne is one of the safest cities. Pun intended. Number 8. Toronto. Another city from Canada that makes its way onto this list is Toronto. It is the most populous city in the country, and the reason that could be is because it is pretty safe. And not just that, the business environment, democracy, food security, and cost of living are pretty amazing here. Toronto also ranks highly in terms of personal security and infrastructure security, and perhaps that is the reason why many movies choose Toronto as their setting, especially when they want to portray a US city, as it is pretty safe and resembles US pretty closely. Number 7. Zurich. Switzerland is a wonderful country to travel to, and the fact is that its capital, Zurich, is one of the safest cities in the world, might be adding to that fact. In fact, it rates the highest in terms of infrastructural security and health safety in the world. The transport system is very well organized here, and it is not really surprising considering that it is home to the second richest population in the world, who would expect everything to be the best. The per capita GDP of Zurich is $50,000. And well, since the Swiss banks are here, we might think that might have added to the security of the city. Number 6. Sydney. This lovely city in Australia, where one can look upon the lovely Opera House, is one of the safest cities in the world in terms of personal safety and infrastructural security. However, digital security is a concern here, as Australia has one of the highest instances of cybercrime, with many internet frauds being perpetrated here. But that aside, Sydney is a very safe city to be in. With a population of 4.5 million, there is also a very efficient policing system in place, which tends to make the city much safer. Number 5. Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a city that many of us would like to visit at least once in our lives because of its culture and, of course, the legal marijuana. And despite what many might think, that does not make the city unsafe. In fact, Amsterdam is one of the safest cities in the world, and its population of 820,000 are pretty chilled out. It also has a very good infrastructural system in place, and with a pretty huge cycling culture here, road accidents are among the lowest in the world. So if you're planning to, pack your bags for Amsterdam, because not only is it a charming little place, it is also extremely safe. Number 4. Stockholm. The capital of Sweden, Stockholm ranks among one of the safest places in the world. The health and digital security here are some of the best, and while it might sound surprising, it is the only non-Asian city to rank among the top 5 safest cities in terms of personal safety. Of course, the fact that the city lies across 14 islands might be a deterrent to criminals who are looking for a quick getaway, but there is no contesting the fact that Stockholm is one of the safest cities to be in. Number 3. Osaka. This busy Japanese city is home to 2.6 million people, and the personal security and health safety are one of the highest in the world. Osaka is also a busy place, and you will always find people milling about here, and for good reason, as it is also one of the wealthiest cities in the world. The only drawback that Osaka has in comparison to Tokyo is that they have less digital security teams monitoring the internet, so the digital security falls behind some of the other cities in the world. But overall, Osaka is a city that is particularly safe. Number 2. Singapore. This busy city is ranked the second safest in the world, and the factor that might be driving that is the fact that Singapore's theft and burglary rates are at a decade-long low. The city has very tough penalties for crime, which prevent many from even thinking about them. And with hopes of becoming a smart city, the cybersecurity has been beefed up in the city, in addition with the on-ground police. Not to mention that it is also the wealthiest city in the world, with the highest GDP in the world. And it is also a paradise for shoppers, and the low crime rates and great overall safety are the reasons that many people want to come here to spend their money. Number 1. Tokyo. With a population of 13.3 million people, Tokyo is not just one of the busiest cities in the world, but is also the safest city in the world. The digital security in Tokyo is the best in the world, and even in terms of personal safety and infrastructure safety, it ranks in the top 5 in the world, despite its high population and the fact that the city is known to experience a number of earthquakes. And considering the fact it is the safest city in the world, there should be no surprise that the nightlife in the city is thriving and great. The bustling city of Tokyo is definitely something you must experience, as it is not only safe, but pretty interesting as well. Do any of you stay in these cities, or have you had the pleasure of visiting any of them? If so, do let us know what your experience was like. And if you think that we missed out some other cities on this list, do let us know in the comments below. And remember to subscribe to our channel to get instant updates on our latest videos.